Welcome to Legends of. Today we will be covering a legend of West Virginia, Indrid Cold. Although Indrid Cold is considered a legend of West Virginia, the first possible sighting of Cold actually comes out of New Jersey. Two boys were walking down the street when they saw a mysterious figure. This figure was a man in a reflective suit who was unusually tall. It is also reported that he lacked certain facial features, such as a nose or ears. The boys claimed that this man chased them for a while before they were able to get away from him. Now, the second sighting of Cold is the more infamous, and the reason he is a legend of West Virginia. In November of 1966, around the same time that the Mothman was first seen, Woodrow Derenberger was driving near Parkersburg. As he was driving down the road, a car passed him, being chased by what can only be described as a spaceship. This spaceship stopped in front of Woodrow's car, and out of it walked a tall man, grinning, wearing reflective clothing. He walked to Woodrow's car and began to ask him questions, such as what the nearby city was, and if most people lived in the city. He also went on many times to tell Woodrow to not be afraid. He identified himself as Cold and said that he only wanted happiness for Woodrow. According to Woodrow's accounts, however, Cold's portion of the conversation was not spoken out loud, but instead telepathically. As the conversation finished and Cold left, he made one last statement to Woodrow: "We will see you again." Upon arriving home, Woodrow told his wife of the incident. She then called the cops and a reporter. The next day, Woodrow was questioned on live TV for a half hour about the events he claimed had existed and occurred. The audio of this interview still exists, and I will link it below in the description. A possible third sighting happened in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, as the Lilly family complained of ghostly activity in their house. One night, their young daughter Linda woke up to see a man in her room. In her own words, she said, "It was a man, a big man, very broad. I couldn't see his face very well, but I could see that he was grinning at me. He walked around the bed and stood right over me. I screamed again and hid under the covers. When I looked again, he was gone." Although these end the most famous sightings of Cold, according to the Derenberger family, he would often show up around the house. And not only that, but Woodrow would disappear for days on end, sometimes not even realizing he was gone when he came back. He even claimed to be taken to Cold's planet during some of these disappearances. He would later take up drinking and would refuse to talk about Cold. According to Woodrow's daughter, she remembered seeing Cold often and was mildly scared of him. However, to her own recollection, she could not agree or corroborate any of her dad's claims of telepathy, saying that whenever she saw Cold, he always talked like a normal human. One of the most interesting claims that she has made, however, is that at her dad's funeral, Cold was present. Although the legend of Indrid Cold is often overshadowed by the more famous Mothman, the legend is an interesting one, and it has affected the Derenberger family for generations.